All right, we're live. What's going on? Marcoverse, episode 1. Hey, everyone. How we doing? Welcome to the show. This is my brother, Dennis Michael.
Dude, I love you so much.
I love you too, man. Yeah. Yeah, episode 1, we're here.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for this.
Okay, so this is what I had. This is what I had to say. So for all you watching all the comics, or like anyone that's ever known me in my entire life, I have like a big bang moment when it all happened. But my brother Dennis Michael here, because I got the I remember when I was a kid, and you remember when we went to Blockbuster and we got Delirious.
And Richard Pryor's Live on the Sunset.
No, you forgot. I forgot. It was
Delirious and the other one that he did, Eddie Murphy.
No, Robin Williams.
Oh yes,
yeah, Robin Williams. And I'm gonna say something here that might send ripples, but the Delirious one, I remember dying.
You were 13.
Okay, I was 11 or 12 or 13.
Okay, something like
that. But what was I saying? Yeah. So I remember watching Delirious and I was crying, and then we put on thing. I did not laugh at all to Robin Williams. And that's all I'm gonna say about. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to send ripples through the universe.
But I do subsequently remember exposing you to Richard Pryor Live on the Sunset Strip as well.
Really? I don't remember that.
You remember that?
No,
Okay.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah, I was just like, you gotta watch these guys if you want to laugh.
100%. Anyway. And so I mentioned this I think yesterday with a comic. I was telling them how, it was someone at work. I was telling them my favorite comedians, and I said, well, in the early days, Delirious, because Delirious was the first special that I saw, the one that you showed me, and then Jim Carrey, his movies that came after, and then modern day would be Louis C.K., Bill Burr, Bill Hicks, Bill Hicks, and then who's the other one? Doug Stanhope. I love Doug Stanhope. Yeah, so those are the ones that I really like. But it's amazing that Eddie Murphy was 22 in the early '80s. And that performance, start to finish, it was amazing. It's like I love Louis C.K. and even Joe Rogan. I look up to Joe Rogan and I'm like, Joe Rogan, you're at 50, he made it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But all these guys, it's like they make it later. You got to get seasoned. You need to have heartbreak and get evicted. But Eddie did it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think for both Eddie and Robin Williams, cocaine definitely helped. They were both fucked up on cocaine.
Hold on.
Both those videos. Absolutely.
No way.
You look it up.
I don't.
You look it up.
I look it up. I have the keyboard and mouse here. It might be. I'll look it up. That would be kind of difficult to really search in such a quick time. But no, specifically for Delirious, that taping. Man, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was juiced up.
He was juiced up. Okay, well, I'm not gonna say I don't deny it, and it's not gonna crush my.
But that was the thing back in the '80s, right? Everybody, even rock bands, the hair bands, that was not to say that cocaine isn't a thing now, but I mean that was the '80s were the party era, and that was the drug of choice.
See, I don't know if I can go into this. So yeah, I'll go into this. Whatever. So I've done that particular thing maybe 5 times in my life, and I don't see how. And I'm not trying to talk. Oh, I'm so cool and I'm so energetic that I don't need it.
Yeah.
Because I like doing other stuff, but I just don't see how that would. It doesn't give me energy to the point where I think this would help me perform for 2 hours. Maybe other people has a different effect.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you would have to keep. Yeah, who knows?
Wow.
And so hold on, you think Robin Williams
100%.
100%?
100%. I mean, that was the core of his issues. He went from cocaine and then got clean and then he became an alcoholic, and he struggled with addiction all of his life, and that was he was trying to mask the pain of his depression. I mean, that was the issue with, nobody really knew what was going on in his head or deep in his core, right? He was suffering. And so and it started at a very young age. Yeah, when you watch him on stage, the very first shows he was fucked up on cocaine.
He doesn't strike me as that. You got to level with me here that he seems like a straight-laced cotton docker.
No.
Cuz his comedy is kind of
later in life when he
I don't want to send
later
ripples.
in life when he cleaned up, yeah, for sure, but early on, no, that was a problem for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess
No.
I don't want to say something like that, because I don't.
Well, I don't want to talk about like I'm an expert on it.
No,
right?
no,
but
no. Right. Yeah.
I've read a lot of biographies, and I know that was some of the issues that was going on for a lot of, not just him, a lot of people, especially in New York, comics in New York. When New York City was, Manhattan was the haven for comics. Studio 64, Andy Warhol. I mean, that
54?
54, sorry.
Yeah.
Pulling numbers out of the air. But I've read all those biographies, David Geffen and Robin Williams, and I mean, that was a thing. That was an era of that was the key go-to drug. And again, not to say that I'm an expert, it's what I read. I could have read bullshit.
Yeah.
And not to say that, it doesn't still go on today.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
You don't need it.
No. You
especially don't need it.
No, I don't need it. And I'll tell you what, I'm probably not going to use it, but what I will use, and that there was someone that I met recently at my work.
Yeah.
And he came to see one of my shows last week. And after he came up to me and he's like, "Look, I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm not gonna be that guy that when you go to see a play, you're like, oh, you were great. He's like, no, you were great.
Yeah.
He's like, I could tell you were nervous, and I'm always nervous.
Yeah.
Everyone's nervous. But he said, like, have a couple shots. And the funny thing is that so I didn't drink that night,
right?
But I did have a couple drinks on this past Sunday at my show at Lola. Shout out to Lola. That's where I did my first open mic, and then I did my first headlining this past Sunday. Cool. It was 30 minutes. It's a hole in the wall, but I still love you, Lola. But it's a hole in the wall. No, but it is. This is what it is. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun. But I had 3 gin and tonics there.
Yeah.
And it loosened me up. But the funny thing is, he told me that, and I was gonna get around to it. I'm gonna test shrooms. I'm gonna test a little bit of weed.
Yeah.
And now I did alcohol, but the couple of shots of alcohol took off the edge. I actually. What about you? Do you
couple of shots of whiskey?
Is that, yeah?
Whiskey is my choice.
For the show in September of 2019, what did you do?
It was probably a shot or 2 of whiskey. That's all, just to take the edge off.
But you did.
Normally I do, just to kind of loosen up the vocal cords. I mean, it's not a habit. I don't necessarily need it. But if I'm feeling hoarse or whatever, it just sort of kind of helps, tighten up the vocal cords.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Smooth out the edges. But and then it does take off the edge because I get crazy stage fright up until about maybe first or second minute. And in fact, that show with Critical View, it probably wasn't until the start of the third song, where I just I hit my stride and I got into the zone. But I get nervous. But anyway.
Yeah,
But I don't want to get into the habit of drinking, especially live performances, because I don't drink as much as I used to, and I think beyond 2-3 shots, then I get a little too loose, and I miss my cues and stuff like that. Yeah. So I still need to be focused, right, in order to deliver, a performance.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's your podcast. You do whatever you want, man. You could take a shit right here if you want.
I could take a shit.
I won't watch you, but you could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So anyway, it does help. But I don't do it for that purpose, like to take the edge off. I do it more for my voice, my vocal cords, just and typically only when I'm feeling hoarse.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever perform any time on stage? You went too far.
Never.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it. Like, I've tried in rehearsals. I can't drink beer and sing. I get like dry, pasty tongue. It's just not comfortable.
So what do you keep on stage? Just the water?
Or just water.
Just water, yeah.
That's it.
Do you, because I do this, I judge performers. Right. I don't judge them like in a way where I think less of them, but it strikes me because when I perform, it's just like, I just want water, right? I know some comedians, they have they smoke and they drink on stage. That's kind of their persona. But when I see a musician perform and they're like drinking, and I'm like, that's gonna affect your voice. Don't you just want water? But I guess everyone's different.
I don't judge, but I mean, I read once in Canadian Musician magazine, and I'm not gonna say the guy's name because I'm I'm trying to get started here, but he talked about his pre-show warm-up was a liter of milk.
What?
A liter of milk, and then a couple of beers and a shot or something like that, just to get like that right, that grimy, throaty kind of. But anyway, I was like, yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah, that sounds like He's got to start with that and then the bathroom and then get on stage.
I don't understand.
No, that's disgusting.
It's crazy. I mean, I do a minimum of a half hour to, well, for a show, I'll probably do a 45-minute to an hour warm-up, right? Not so intense. I'll start really light and easy. But, yeah, every rehearsal, every show is a minimum half-hour warm-up, to get the chops back into shape. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So rounding all that, that's my brother, everyone. This is my brother right here. He's responsible for every open mic you see me do some crazy, wacky shit. This guy's responsible, and he has. Why don't you tell us? What do you have coming for us today? There's a premiere.
Today we're doing a video premiere of a single that I released yesterday, Cinco de Mayo. The song is called Revolution, and the name of the band that I'm assembling is The Machine. And, by the way, I have some swag, and so people can understand what The Machine is.
Show it up. Show it to the people.
Yeah, it's basically the mind, our brain, right? And it's a machine. And, The Machine represents the last frontier. I don't think the last frontier is out there in space. This is for you. It's a size small.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Oh, this is awesome. Yes, right there. The logo, because I've told you so many times, that logo's been with you. When did you design that? Or have it designed?
Almost 20 years ago.
Almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool then, and I think it's aged amazingly. It looks really cool. Who made that?
So I did everything from the get-go, the concept. Yeah. I ordered a brain from like a Scholastic website. I had it chromed. Then with a buddy, we put it in a dark room and we shot it and we lit it up. Those are actual. That's a filter. That's a sepia filter, and that was the light blue, ice blue light that he had. And then I, got an artist on Fiverr to embellish it and enhance it. And lo and behold, that's.
But that would have been recently. You got the artist
Fiverr
on
is recently, yeah. But the photograph I've had, like, it's a duller photograph if you compare the two.
Yeah.
Right? From recent. But yeah, I mean. I've had it.
But you designed.
I designed.
What did you use to draw it?
Oh,
especially 20 years ago.
That's a photograph.
That's a photograph.
That's a photograph.
Oh, I didn't know that was a photograph. I thought that was a drawing or a painting of some sort.
No. It was a brain photographed and then embellished.
Oh, and then you brought up the vibrance or the guy on.
That's
right.
Yeah,
he brought up. Okay, this whole time I just thought it looked like something it was digitally done. Like you digitally.
That was the idea.
But
a chrome brain, but digitally enhanced.
Yeah,
right?
But there you go. You fooled me this whole time. That's what I thought it was. So you got it. The effect was achieved.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So I do. That's from you. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Like I do that at work, my serving job. Just just if I'm collecting plates and someone's like, thank you. I go, thank you very much. And I just walk away.
I was in Graceland in early March.
Oh yes, you were in Graceland. Okay, yeah. So
we were talking about this earlier, and then we pressed pause on it. So I was at the grave, and then you were talking about the Spinal Tap scene. So go ahead, finish that.
All right, the Spinal Tap scene. I love this scene in Spinal Tap. It's so funny. So they get to the grave. They're visiting Elvis. And so they want to pay an homage to him. So they're singing at his grave, but they totally butcher the song. So they're like, do you remember? Okay. They go, it was since my baby. All three of them are doing like a cappella.
Right, they're trying to do the harmony.
They're trying to do the harmony. Harmony. That's what it is.
I remember now.
Since my baby. No. Since my baby left. And they're totally butchering it. And then the bassist with the thing is like, guys, come on. It's Elvis here. Don't disrespect. Show some respect to the king. That scene.
By the way, I was in Nashville, but I drove to Graceland just so people are being sticklers. I know that.
Oh yeah, I don't.
I drove to Memphis. So.
You drove to Memphis, yeah, of course. So you stood at his grave.
Absolutely, I have the photographs.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. The house was cool. It was interesting, but the rest of the place was like a warehouse theme park. With his receipts and underwear on display. It was literally everything that you can imagine, and 14 gift shops you had to walk in and out of in order to go and see his shit. But
was it? He's not the only one buried there. Is it just him?
No, he's got his twin brother that died at birth is buried there, and I believe his parents. I believe his nephew most recently is also buried there on the opposite end of the pool. That would be. Is it his nephew?
Here, we have it here.
No, it would be his grandson. Excuse me.
This was such a great idea. I mean, I don't feel any better than I did at a hotel. It was going to do a TV special. Yeah, that's right, a musical version of Somebody Up Their Lives. Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street, that Heartbreak Hotel. Do it with the harmony parts. The same key, though, I think. Well, since my lady left.
These guys are mental cases.
No, you can't hit that note. Since my
I love the finger in the ear.
Well, it sounds raga. You don't want to go raga.
What's raga?
Raga is like almost like a reggae.
Raga.
Watch the land in front of the king. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I think his parents are buried there, and his grandson, that would be, what's her name? Lisa Marie, I think one of her...
Lisa Marie Presley, that's his wife, ex-wife.
No,
Wait,
Priscilla.
no.
Priscilla is Lisa
the...
Marie is his daughter, his only daughter.
Yeah.
And I believe her son committed suicide at 18, 19, or 20, something like that. And he's buried at the opposite end of the pool. Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anyway. But.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Nashville was awesome.
Yeah, it's
I'm not a country fan.
Me, yeah.
But I really just fell in love with this place. And I want to go back. I want to go and write there with whoever will take me.
yeah. It's interesting. It's got a cool vibe.
The Grand Ole Opry has such a spirit, and the Ryman Theater, because but it's just, it's got a cool vibe, and the spirit of the Grand Ole Opry is just absolutely, it's moving. Mm-hmm. I want to share real quick.
Yeah.
There was a guy there. He performed for the first time I got to the Grand Ole Opry on that Saturday night. 67-year-old who had gone to Nashville in his 20s, early 20s, to make it as a country star, failed miserably, left with his tail between his legs. Again, I'm counting his story on stage while he was telling this at the grand piano. So he's 67, he left, and he became a real estate broker in Texas somewhere, I think Austin. And he got married, had 3 girls, and he was feeling unfulfilled at some point, and his wife said, "Hey, why don't you give it another shot?" Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, he became a Grammy Award-winning songwriter for Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, and he got to perform for the first time at the Grand Ole Opry. And the last song that he sang was called "My Little Girl." It's another story. I don't want to get into it, but basically, long story short, it was for a film that Tim McGraw and Faith Hill did. He walked off the stage and there wasn't a dry eye in the house, including him. Like, it was just, it was that emotional. So it was very inspiring for me, me having that real estate connection.
Right, yeah.
And, it was a very moving evening. So, loved that place.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
I know, what's the Grand Ole Opry?
Yep.
That's a group, that's a band that's made up of musicians?
Grand Ole Opry is a show, basically. It started off at the Ryman Theater, and it started off as the Tabernacle. I forget the original name, but I think it was the late 1800s, early 1900s. It was a tabernacle. It was a church, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And I think in the late 1900s they started the radio show. Why do I keep saying the early 1900s,
right.
the 20s or something like that? And they started a radio show, and it was a live performance on that stage. And then I think in 1977, the place was in just poor disrepair, and the people that were running the Grand Ole Opry, the show itself, they were quite successful, and they just decided that they were going to go and build their own stage. So they built it like half hour away in a new part of Nashville.
Right.
And it's a 4,500 seater. The Ryman Theater used to be a 6,500 seater and a seat theater, and then through its renovations, it got reduced to about 2,500.
Yeah.
So, and there's rock shows that still go. Like the day that I was there, the Saturday night that I was there. Sorry, the Sunday that I was there. What's his name? We just talked about him. Sammy Hagar and the Circle was performing.
Oh, Sammy Hagar was there.
He was there that
No
day.
way.
That, I toured the Ryman Theater. Yeah, it's a cool place.
But you didn't see him perform.
No, I didn't get to see him perform.
Yeah.
I believe I went to see a hockey game. We had bought tickets to go and
yeah.
see a hockey game, which was pretty cool in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Okay, so we're gonna do this the video premiere.
You want to do that?
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah,
Okay,
that's-
so
it's-
cool.
it's
Let me
up
set
next.
it up. We'll just.
All right, this might be the first time I have to edit the video out. All right, we're starting, people. We're 30 seconds on the clock. This is my brother's debut video. This is your first music video.
First single, first music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
With me singing, because I released an instrumental
Last year, which is really cool. You guys should check it out. It's called Thresholds. You can find it on your Bandcamp. Is it on Spotify as well?
It's on Spotify, Apple
Yeah.
as well.
It's really cool. You know what? I might do the outro here with his song. I had a different idea, but here it is, guys. Here we go. Yeah, I like how it's very now. This is like a perfect encapsulation of the last 2 years.
I've been rushing to put this together.
But
Yeah, I've been rushing to put this together and try not to miss the moment. So, but I think I
No, I think-
encapsulated everything perfectly.
no, you did. You got it. It's a really great music video, and it perfectly fits the song.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. like that final one with the effect on the voice. Oh, this closing, that little guitar riff. It's kind of like Tea Party E.
You know, that's like the very first riff that got played. Like when in pre-production, when we were just kind of fucking around. And,
yeah. With the
guitar. Yeah.
Oh, with the guitar. No, the producer. You mean? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
The Punisher.
No, not that guy.
No.
It's a different guy.
A different guy.
Trump.
Okay.
Yeah, you can cut that out. Yeah, but anyway, that closing guitar riff was from an opening guitar riff when I first demoed it.
Yeah.
And so it found its place at the end of the song because it just had this cadence to it.
Yeah. Right? I feel like that could be the start of, like, you could almost blend it into another song.
Maybe. I suppose. Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
So many things creatively
of course,
that you could do, right?
Yeah, of course. But it just sounded Tea Party-y to me, especially like Edges of Twilight album. Yeah,
I'll take it. Absolutely. Are you kidding? I'm sure that bled into my psyche somewhere.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to know this because people always ask me, my whole life, it's like, oh my God, are you an actor? Girls, like, oh my God, you're an actor. Oh my God. And like when I think back to like the moment when I became like who I am, I think we're born the way we are. In the 80s, I remember me, you, and Pete, we'd be in the basement, air guitar, Bon Jovi, fooling around. I used to pretend like I was talking to Ninja Turtles, or like pretend like I was playing with Ninja Turtles, like I was a Ninja Turtle.
Right.
But it wasn't until the Eddie Murphy, Delirious, and Jim Carrey. You remember when Pet Detective came out and I was
I mean the thing was that you love to laugh and you love to make people laugh, and so I recognize that, and that's why I did that, right?
But what was it for you? What's the moment for you when you were a kid?
I mean, I don't have a lot of memory about that, other than this one that I'll tell you about in a sec. But I think from photographs, I loved to sing, and I know that Mom, she loved music, and she was constantly playing her Italian pop music around the house and singing to it, and I think I was just a product of that environment, and I really truly love singing. Like I am most alive when I'm in front of a microphone performing and singing, so I think that's like, it's just a first love, right? I love doing it. I love singing. I love emoting. I love connecting. I love capturing people's attention and connecting, right? Like that's the first the thing that I if you ask me the question, what is it? Yeah, that's it. But as far as memories of the moments that it's fragmented. I mean, other than those photographs and relating to it now, as I just described, I remember one time I was probably maybe 3.5, 4 years old, and Mom was vacuuming. And this is how much of a freak of a kid I was. Like, it was making this high-pitched noise frequency, this vacuum cleaner, like, and I was following her around, and I was audibly mimicking this vacuum cleaner. And just because there was something about reverberating with that frequency that, my ears and my head just sort of kind of like, it almost went in stereo, right? Like, there was this feeling of that I got the pitch, but and then there was like this vibration, right? That just felt good, and it was cool, and it was interesting. It was like a little experiment. It was just no other reason than I was bored, and I was interested by this noise, and I wanted to emulate and mimic it.
Right.
Mom turned the vacuum cleaner off, and I kept going, and she looked back in befuddled and confused, like, why the fuck isn't this thing turned off?
Yeah.
And I have a memory like that was yesterday of that, and I mean, I didn't think of it until you asked me that question. You sent me this question, and I was like, yeah, that was probably a moment where I caught myself just having decent pitch, right?
Can you make the sound?
I don't remember what it was. I mean, that was pretty, like, it was like that.
Yeah. Just your face.
I know. I feel like the black dude from Police Academy, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The sound effect guy. Yeah. I mean, listen, I love voices. I love making voices, but maybe in another lifetime. We'll see.
You love making, but you love doing what's it called? The filters on Snapchat and everything. Those are kind of funny when you do those.
I want to do a whole skit with Snapchat filters. I just don't have the time. I just really want to do, a full-length feature production with Snapchat.
Yeah.
Snapchat
filters. You do Mom so good.
Hello. Yeah. What do you do? Marco, where are you? We could spend an hour on
We could spend an hour on this, and people won't know unless they know our mother. But some of our close friends, they do
Of
know.
course.
They
And
do know
I think you have a
our
channel.
mother.
You have a channel. A couple of channels, actually.
A couple of
no?
channels with just Mom.
You have a YouTube channel dedicated to her voicemails, and then you have an Instagram channel.
The latest one. The latest one with the fire. I don't even know if I can bring it up. I can't because it's on the Instagram.
Don't worry about it. You can. You know what? You can edit it in after.
I know, but it's got to be live. This is like
this
is like you know who it's like. But no, I can bring it up here. Just
is it there?
Bear with. Oh, it's here.
Yeah.
Here, which one is it over here?
Oh, right there.
Here we go. This one right here. How do we get to?
You're telling her one thing and
I'm fired.
Oh my God! It's that one that kills me. Okay, hold on.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. One more time.
You're telling her one thing and
I'm fired.
I'm fine.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
So that night, we got home, me and Sarah, and I shit you not, we watched that about 10 times over, and then the next one over. Fuck it, we're watching the next one.
Okay.
You guys gotta watch this one. It's so good. This is my mom.
No.
She's sick of me. She doesn't want to do it, but it was still funny. She got sick of me recording her. Watch this one. Watch this. Hold on.
No.
She's a 5-year-old trapped in a 75-year-old body.
She's so sick of me.
Oh God, that's funny as shit.
No.
Listen,
Sarah-
you want to know what's
no.
crazy? I think it was the day after, or a couple days after.
Yeah.
She's like, but a lot of people, they like this on the Instagram. It's like, I can't believe it. She likes the attention. So.
Oh my God, it's weird because she likes the attention, but then she genuinely gets upset, and it's like, Ma, we're just having fun.
Anyway.
I don't know. She's, whatever you're gonna do. They're old school. What are you gonna do? They're old school. What are you gonna do?
So anyway, I mean, just to go back,
go.
I mean, I'll tell you another quick story. As a performer, though, in grade 2, we were doing a talent show, and I was asked to do a flamenco dance, and dressed up with the sombrero and everything. And the dance partner, was my childhood crush, and so I was keen on nailing this performance for her more than anything else. But what makes that interesting, the story more interesting, is that I think it was like a couple of days later or the week following, a representative.
Sorry, how old are you here?
Grade 2.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, what are you, 7, 8?
Something like that. Yeah.
A representative from St. Michael's College came, some St. Michael College choir came, and they pulled me out of the classroom and they asked me to kind of sing a couple of notes. They sang and then asked me to repeat it and sing it, and then they asked for the phone number, and God knows what happened after that. But so yeah, I mean, I have like little tidbits of memories of things like that.
And then Van Halen and the pony,
I was
the
autistic.
Hyundai pony came into your life.
I was autistic with Van Halen. I mean,
I
was a teenager, and I was a puny teenager, and so I don't know what that means. I don't know why I said that, but I think it was cool. Here's this band that I was already into like BMX biking, right? So there's that whole what do they call Santa Cruz
Thrill Seekers or something?
No, it was just the whole California, BMX and skateboarding, freestyle BMX. That whole Santa Cruz scene was, that was a thing back in the 80s when I was a kid, right?
Well, Van Halen's from Santa Cruz.
And they're from Pasadena.
Pasadena, okay.
And so, here's this cool California band that, there's chicks in every video, and and so, I mean, it's like you're a teenager, and these guys get the girls. So
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
but
that's-
it was pretty wild music. I mean, I've been a huge admirer of the guitar. I mean, I wish I was a better guitar player than I actually am. No doubt about it. I had to actually make a decision to be a better singer or be a better guitar player. I just didn't have the physical time to get, to be a better guitar player way back when. But I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I love guitars. I love Eddie Van Halen. I think you asked me, like influences and stuff like that. but
Yeah, well, we can.
He's number one for
he's
sure.
He's number one. What would be your top 5? What would come after that?
Oh fuck, 5 is like that's tight.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'd say as of late, Pete Thorne, Steve Lukather, Tim Pierce, Ian Thornley. A lot of people don't
Shout
know
out to
who
Ian
these.
Thornley, Canadian. What's going on?
From Toronto.
Yeah.
Ian Thornley is he's the triple threat. He's an amazing guitarist, killer singer, and songwriter as well. Right, so. I love his music. I love his arrangements, his guitar arrangements, and the way he layers. He's genius at it. And I mean, like as far as bands and songwriters, like there's Marillion, and Hours, the band Hours. You guys make fun of me because of Jimmy Necco, but Jimmy Necco is known for his voice. He's an incredible singer, and and Marillion. Why I put those two together is because they broke the mold of the music industry. They are autonomous. They're not signed to anybody. They have a cult following worldwide, and they're successful. And they've Marillion's been around 40 years. Ours has been around 20 years plus. And to me that's admirable. They didn't fall into into the machine. And get spit up and chewed out and what have you, and so they just do things on their own. Hey,
they didn't get swallowed in the machine.
Pink Floyd, that's
Pink Floyd,
the other
yeah.
band that I'm in is Critical View. We're primarily a Pink Floyd cover band.
Yeah.
But we do some Marillion and some other prog rock stuff as well. Toto and Porcupine Tree. It's a lot of obscure stuff, but for me, not only keeping the chops in shape, it's been a masterclass in songwriting from the perspective of reverse engineering these songs, learning how to perform them note by note, and getting the sounds authentic, programming the keys, the guitars, and all the sounds and everything. So it's been it's been 13 years of learning what goes into crafting a song, and so that's been. I'm grateful for it. It's been the best feeling in the world to be able to perform these songs and play them live and people. That was like that performance back in 2019 that you talked about. Everybody that came up to me, I mean, they genuinely were touched and moved by the music. They didn't expect it because no one had really ever heard me sing before, and so that was rewarding. That was fantastic. I got to feel like a self-expressed artist for the first time, and I connected. And so my objective, I followed through. So it was fantastic. So I mean.
So what's your favorite part of the process, making the music? Because now you made an EP last year. You have one that's coming out next.
Sharing
month.
it.
Sharing it.
Yeah. Whether I'm sharing the socials, but most of all is performing. Yeah. There's nothing like that feeling on stage and just connecting with people and and people telling you how they felt about it. I mean, there's just something that it's organic, it's real, it's authentic, and it's taken me a long time to, I've been living in the rock and roll fantasy, like wanting to live this rock and roll fantasy. But at the end of the day, I think it's just I desire to connect and bring my gift, my passion of singing and connecting with others, and bringing that joy, and and then in particular a song like Revolution. There are some themes that I tied into what's been going on in the world in the last couple of years. Although that song was written quite some time ago, but it still resonated, and that's the thing, is that when I write, I try my utmost best to write not that I want to write a hit, but I write primarily to connect. You know, it's got to connect. It's got to resonate. You know, if it moves me with just my voice and a guitar or a piano, it doesn't matter how I produce it. I can produce it country, but, you know, as long as the core essence of the song, you know, moves me deeply and moves another deeply, then, you know, and I've succeeded. And I mean, it sounds kind of cliche because I've heard a lot of artists say that, but it's true. There's an element of truth to it, right? I mean, it's the most important thing about songwriting is you want to connect with your audience. You want to give them an experience. You want to connect them even to themselves introspectively, because, you know, the song may mean something to me, but, you know, people come up and say, oh, you know, this song has helped me with this or that or what have you. Yeah, well, you know, that's what music is being introspective, right? Looking inward, going deep. That's what The Machine is. It's being introspective, you know? That's why I say it's the last frontier. Originally, you know, when I thought of the concept.
Yeah, expand on that because because you touched on it earlier, but The Machine, like fully,
yeah, so The Machine, I mean, again, I was a teenager when I thought, or in my early 20s, and, you know, the concept was, again, inside of that rock and roll fantasy was, you know, Led Zeppelin was a World War I spy aircraft. U2 was a World War II spy aircraft. And so I was thinking of, well, what is the last frontier? What is the last place that, you know, that people are going to spy on? And in fact, we're in a day and age, you know, that is so George Orwell, 1984, right? So George Orwellian.
Yeah.
That everything we do and say is either being recorded or documented, you know, digitally. And, you know, our mind is the last frontier. Our mind is the last, you know, spy craft, if you will. So, I mean, The Machine means much more than that. I mean, I've done a ton of work introspectively as well on myself, just to get to know myself. And I think, you know, if a lot of people worked on, you know, figuring out their issues and learning about themselves, it makes it easier to understand others. Because by design, as human beings, there's only so much shit that can happen to you as an individual, as a human being, right? So I think if you understand, you know, the inner workings of your psyche and what makes you tick, then it's easier to connect and understand what's going on for another, right? And at the end of the day, it's about building a bridge in communication. You know, I don't think there isn't anything that cannot be accomplished unless there's communication, you know? And so at the end of the day, I'm an artist that wants to communicate powerfully about deep topics, such as introspection, such as some political stuff. You know, it isn't all about girls, although I wish I was Van Halen, but, you know, I think that ship has sailed for me. I don't live in California, and, you know, I'm married and, you know, all that. But, yeah, so that's what The Machine means to me.
I hear that. I want to touch on the girls thing and just Van Halen again, because so I texted this to you 2020. I was driving on my e-bike,
right,
and I was listening to Van Halen. That's when Van Halen passed away.
Eddie,
shout out to Eddie.
Peace,
R.I.P. Eddie. So, and I was riding, and I was like, man, it was pumping me up. I was going to an open mic in the park because it was lockdown, so we were, and it was just getting me so riled up. And then I just thought back to my early memories with you driving in the car. You're driving so fast and playing that music. And then I actually put myself, because I really didn't think about it, but then I put myself in the late 80s when, because a lot of people don't know this, if you're Canadian, back then when you were 16, you drove right away, right? There was no year. You got a 365.
365.
You drove right away.
You could drive right away with somebody in the car with a 365.
Oh, it was still someone in the car.
Yeah.
It wasn't alone.
Correct. That is correct.
That is
so
correct.
You had to have somebody supervise your driving, but you could drive right away. And
but I feel like it was still lax back then.
It was so, because you could get your 365 like, you know, the next day that you turned 16,
right,
and then you could book your appointment out of town and get your driver's license, you know, provided that you were good enough and capable, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, you didn't have to wait a whole year, I don't think, because they just called it a 365.
Right. So. I don't want to mention any names, but one of my doctors, let's leave it at that. he was working on me, and then he was telling me a story of how when he was a kid, to get fake IDs, you could just I forget what he was saying, but you would just go to the office, some Ontario office.
Yeah, the MTO
and
office.
something like that, and give them like a paper that said, "Oh, this is me," and then they would issue you a new license right then and there with a picture.
Oh, really?
He said it was just so easy. You would just do that. I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but he was saying that was back in the early '80s. So like back then, there's no computer system. It's all done by paper.
Yeah.
So you can that movie Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
He did all that because you couldn't do that nowadays.
Well, yeah, but- yeah.
You could, but it would be.
I think there was a small window where you could, but it quickly got shut. Right? 'Cause
Exactly.
There's just no way because you had to authenticate everything, right?
Exactly. So anyway, so back then, 365. So I just pictured you back in those days riding in the pony or no? Because what was the first car? The Hyundai Pony. By the way, you
Hyundai
guys,
Pony.
let me pull up the Hyundai Pony so people know what it looks like. But what was your first car?
The Hyundai Pony.
Oh, it was the first car. Oh yeah, you took mom's. It was mom's car.
I bought mom's Hyundai
What?
Pony. Dad made me buy that.
Dad made you.
Absolutely.
Oh my! You got to be.
No.
Wow,
I think
Dad.
I paid $1,400.
that is
for
that is
car.
not surprising. No, that's not surprising.
That's okay. We love you, Dad.
Yeah, we love you, Dad. We
You
love
taught
you,
me
Dad.
responsibility.
So you bought the Hyundai Pony. What was the classic car? You're in your youth, Van Halen. It wasn't the Pony.
What do you mean?
The car that you would have driven.
Oh,
when you were going to bars and clubs, listen to Van Halen, Motley Crue. What was that car? And it wasn't the Tempo.
It might have been the Audi because
Oh no!
the batteries go out on that. It's okay.
Did I run out of space? There's no way I ran out of space. Okay, we had some difficulties there, but we're back. Okay, we were talking about the car. Yeah, your first car.
Was the Pony, and then after that,
It wasn't the Tempo.
it was the Audi.
The Audi. What's the Audi?
The Audi, the 5S. I think it was one of the very first. It was a 1982 Audi. It was Dad's car again. It was handed down to Mom, and then when the Pony died, I inherited that one, or I bought it again.
Is this the Pony right here?
That is not the Pony.
Oh, damn it.
That is. It looks like it, but it's not the Pony.
Yeah, that doesn't.
That's
quite-
probably like a. Here, do Hyundai Pony. Don't put the year.
Yeah.
Do burgundy.
Burgundy. Yeah, it was more burgundy.
That one there, right?
This
there,
one?
that second one.
The second one?
Yeah, that was more like it.
View image. Open link in new tab. Shit, I don't know. That's probably the best we can do here.
Go back, and maybe there's another one. That's in shabby condition.
Yeah, which one
Keep
here?
going down.
Go down.
Keep going. Yeah. I mean, it's not at that great of an angle, but
This
down
one?
there, yeah.
That's it?
That's the beast.
I wanna.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna open.
I am
image.
surprised I did not drop the
There we
engine.
go. What does dropping the engine mean? I'm sorry, guys.
I
One
just,
second.
that it fell off the block and just kind of ended up on the road.
Yeah.
You know, like.
This is it. 2-door? Was it 2-door or 4-door?
Oh, I think it was 4-door. Type in 4-door.
I've been 4-door. Anyway, the whole point is that you drove this hilariously.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so boxy. That must have been a previous iteration because mine was smoother, rounder back end, right? So it might have been 1984. Like, go down more.
Yeah. This one right here?
No, it's too square.
Yeah,
So then type in 1984. It's crazy that there isn't even an image of this thing anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That's probably the best one right there.
This one?
No, the
This
one
one?
next to it. Yeah, that's probably the closest. That was a 4-door. That was it.
Look at that. Oh.
That is retarded.
Okay, whatever. I'm gonna have to learn how to. But anyway, I can zoom it in on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a very.
No, that wasn't a sexy car at all.
No.
No,
So
but it got me around.
it got you around, and then So anyway, I was saying like Van Halen driving to that. That was a time. That was that I don't. You can't never say never. I don't know if something like that will ever come back. just I don't, you know.
It's hard to say. I mean, music is.
Well, because music television.
Yeah.
I thought about this recently. I don't know if it'll ever come back. I'm trying to do whatever I'm doing with Tunes I Dig. I have different shows like Barrier or Bust.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it like interactive, and I do the green screen. I try to make it as visually and interactive and just as cool as possible. Give it that vibe of like 90s Much Music. But 90s Much Music, or just Much Music in general, music television, that existed. Like when you zoom out, it's like it could only have existed then, because prior to 1980, there was no cable television.
Right.
And after...
Well, there was cable television, but it's just that they didn't have a network. Right?
Yeah, they didn't have a network.
And it wasn't part of, the marketing campaign.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after Web 2.0, 2005, let's just say 2010, you have the internet, so it's on demand, so you can check it out. You don't have to wait for it.
Right.
It could only... You would have had to have been born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and... if you want to say early 90s, you caught the tail end of music. Like, you could have only been... Because if you try to explain to kids now...
No.
What it... You remember when we went to see the Spice Girls, the day of the World Cup 98?
Yeah, and downtown.
Final?
Yeah, at much Music. That was insane.
They had U2 here, Smashing Pumpkins. They had small artists, and they had big artists. Like, that...
Yeah, I mean, that was the television studio downtown, and, it was the place to go if you wanted to see, or catch a glimpse of your artist if they were in town and they were being interviewed on television, right? Then that was the place to go, because they had these huge windows like this, and you could see into the studio as they were, recording their interviews and what have you. But, yeah.
You think it can come back?
I don't think so, Marco.
You don't think it can come back?
I don't think so.
So obviously I would need a lot of money, but what if I got some guy like the El Macombo and I said, hey, listen, like what if I got Tunes I Dig to like, I got a big following on YouTube.
Right.
And I said, look, I already have my, following. Mm-hmm. I have my shows, like my first reactions. Then I have the Barrier or Bust, where I take people to concerts for free. That's right, episode 3. Tame
I think
Impala.
that's it right there. You're on to something with that, because what you're trying to recreate, I don't think it'll ever gain traction, just because let's face it, everything's about dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Right? And so advertising dollars, where they're going to place, it's going to go where the most attention. Mm. But something like that, explain what that is.
Barrier or Bust.
Yeah.
So I had the idea I wanted to do something interactive. So actually, the first 2 episodes, I went onto the street, tried to give tickets away. That was a failure. I thought it for sure people would be like, yeah, let's go to a concert. But then most people, they have plans already. Sure. They're going to dinner. Yeah. So then I was like, it was right under my nose. The thing I do with Super Bonovox, where I show up or I go front row. Right. For that. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just bring people to front row? Yeah. And that way I film it for you too. Mm-hmm. So why don't I just do that, and I'll just film it for other bands. Right. So and it's I have a feeling that's gonna take off. Everyone, so like the Tame Impala one that I did. Right. Everyone loves it. I just do it more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And then I was saying, El Macombo, that's just an idea, but like, so if I brought artists there, and then interviewed them there, yeah.
I remember reading again back in the early 2000s, it was Canadian Musician magazine, and their prediction at the time was that the music industry was changing so quickly, so rapidly. Budgets were getting shrunk, and their artist rosters, they were getting more serious about who they were going to develop and spend time on. They predicted that it was going to be more of a grassroots local thing, so like if you were an artist in your city, you could blow up in your own city, you weren't necessarily going to be picked up by distribution or by an A&R and go global, but you'll be the big thing in your city, and at the end of the day, you don't need to be signed by anybody, and you can earn a living, you can make your $50,000-$60,000 a year and not hate your job. Yeah. Right. So, and I think that has been an element of that has certainly come to fruition, and even with what you do with the stand up, and I think that's the key. If you can blow up in your own city and get as many followers on the Instagram, then they'll come knocking, and they'll come, you know, and they'll propose to you what they want to do, and then you can decide whether you want to stay the course or, you know, if you want to take it to the next level and blow up and go worldwide or international, whatever you know suits the bill, whatever works for you. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting. It's interesting how it is. It's just the music television. I just miss it. And
I watched a podcast the other day. There's a couple of production companies. They manage artists, their marketing and distribution, and it was a 10-minute podcast done on Instagram, and they talked about in this day and age, with the cost of doing a video having come down so significantly, you cannot. You'd be selling yourself short not to have a video for every single song on your release. Mm-hmm. You know, because let's face it, you know, the kids today or whoever, you know, they want to be engaged, and you want to be a part. You want to have that presence on YouTube because everybody's looking at videos and what have you, and so. You know, even advertisements, you know, you want to have like a 10-second, a 30-second, or a minute clip of a video of some sort to entice people and get them interested in your music. And why not engage them visually? You know, I mean, I'm not in any of the videos yet. Yeah. But, you know, who's to say, you know, things pick up. I could be in the video. I can edit it and put myself in. Or, you know, going forward, I'll certainly, you know, want to perform live at a stage somewhere.
You gonna rent a couple Corvettes?
No, I won't do anything stupid like that.
Get a couple.
Not interested.
Couple girls.
No.
Come on.
No. Maybe some live shots of stuff. Maybe
rockin' steady in her daddy's car. She's got the stereo.
David Lee Roth, dude. I don't know, man.
So that's one of my earliest memories. Like in general, is watching you with you watching that. Press conference where David Lee Roth was talking about getting kicked out of Van Halen and just like he was because I actually watched that video recently when I made that video, that promo video last year for Tunes I Dig, and so he came to Toronto and the reporters were asking him what's the beef, right? And then he got into it and he was just saying how it was just a funny interview.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Dave is an animated guy. You know, he's special, that's for sure. He's a lot of fun. But, I mean, I think there was, at the end of the day, there was just, it was egos that clashed there.
Look at this.
Just like any band, we're having a career difference here. We're having a musical difference. And we're going to go our own ways. And we cried and we hugged and he split. And 2 weeks later, I'm reading in Rolling Stone what an asshole I am. And how poor little Eddie was forced to spend the last 12 years of his life living a lie. Like a National Enquirer or something. And here comes his wife, you know, to back it up, you know, and on and on and on. So I stayed quiet for 6 months, 7 months. And I'm just reading diatribe after harangue, after this, after that, you know, again and again and again. And I still believe it's not necessary to make a comparison. I don't think you have to make a choice, but Van Halen demands it.
He's an animated character.
Oh, yeah.
Some bizarre, retarded reason.
Yeah. He was the shit back then. I don't care. Yeah, like,
oh, no.
But, you know, I mean...
1986.
Yeah. But, you know, listen, you know, it went the way it went. And, you know, I think musically, I understand it. Let's face it, Sammy Hagar had he had a bigger range vocally, and you know I think he was more accomplished songwriter. And so what they did with Van Halen after the fact, it needed to happen. I just, you know, it's you can only do the same shit over and over and over again, you know. I don't want to badmouth anybody.
No, you gotta.
You know, I got a couple band names that come to mind, but I don't want to say anything. You know,
a couple band names of whom?
Well, like, you know, like, okay, I'll say it. Jesus, you know, Bon Jovi, God love him. You know, he just kind of.
Have you seen the recent videos?
No, I don't
want
to talk about it. I knew about it already. Okay. I knew it years ago. I stopped.
You knew what years ago that his voice?
His voice. Yeah, because you know, I mean, he just. He pushed his limit, right? So, and I knew that it was deteriorating. But what I wanted to say about the songwriting was that at a certain point, you know, they hit a stride with their fame and their just like the Foo Fighters as well. They hit a stride and they sort of kind of like didn't really reinvent themselves. Mm-hmm. So they were just kind of rehashing, you know, their own formula. And you know, people were buying it and they were still going to the shows.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorite bands from the 80s is a big surprise because I hated them in the 80s was Jane's Addiction. But, you know, and they don't have a lot of, they don't have a big catalog.
Just because.
Listen,
just
you know,
because.
here's a bunch of middle-aged rockers that
Yeah.
keep reinventing themselves. I think they're very avant-garde.
They were around in the 80s? They started?
Oh, yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
Well, even before Stop.
Let's see here. Jane's Addiction. When did it?
Been Caught Stealing. I think that was the first
1985. Wow, I did not think that because I remember they were big in the mid 90s.
Been Caught Stealing or Stop. Stop was probably the cooler song, but Been Caught Stealing was the first song.
Yeah, Been Caught Stealing. I remember that one. But this is the.
And he's. I don't know if you know this. You know that.
Oh, they only have 4 albums.
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Yeah.
4 albums?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
88, 90. So I know the 90 one then, but how? Yeah, I remember that album cover.
Yeah.
But I guess they took the time to release these.
Yeah, there was
classic.
about 10 years in between that one and Strays, and then almost another 10 years between Strays.
Where's the song Just Because?
In
That was-
Strays. That's
Are you sure?
2003?
2003? That was 2003. I remember that.
Yeah, I saw them live at Massey Hall. They were amazing.
Just Because. Wow. So my brain momentarily put that in the late 90s, but now I remember that was later.
Yeah, the superhero song is on the soundtrack for Entourage.
Uh-huh.
Right? You remember the Entourage?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Entourage. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the godfather of Lollapalooza. He started that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
He started Lollapalooza. Yeah.
So,
I knew that, but
yeah, I mean,
1991.
I like that they take their time. It's sort of kind of like the band Marillion. They take their time in their writing process, and you know, not so much about perfection, but it's just, you know, U2 once upon a time they did the same thing. I know you're a huge U2 fan.
No, they spit out albums in the 80s.
No, but you know what? I think it was Zooropa. I think they had 2 producers minimum, if not 3, and it was Brian Eno, and
No, but Zooropa they did on tour of the Zoo TV tour.
understood, but it was like those 2 together. But it was Brian Eno and who's the Canadian guy?
Daniel Lanois.
Daniel Lanois.
Yeah.
So, but they took their time with that Zooropa. You know, they didn't spit that one out.
They did. They recorded that on tour.
The Zooropa one. Sorry, I meant the
Achtung
Baby. Yeah, that they took their time.
That one they took their time on. Yes. That one they took their time on. Yeah.
So, and you know, every song front to back on that album is like.
And
you know,
that album is almost Jane's Addiction-y too. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of darker.
Well,
A lot of dark.
yeah, there's
guitar
dark
parts.
overtones.
A lot of dark overtones. Yeah. It's a dark album. It's from the Dark Trilogy. This is a new direction we're going in. This is Spinal Tap's new direction.
Oh, not the band New Direction.
Not the band new direction.
Something's going on over there.
Oh. All right, we got technical difficulties, but we're dealing with it. But anyway, we're actually just rounding it out. So thanks a lot for doing this. It was great. This is my first episode. You were...
My first podcast.
Your first podcast. My first podcast. First everything. I just wanted to close out with saying, your EP is out next month.
We're aiming for the end of June, early July. We're just nailing down the last track.
Right.
So,
And it's at The Machine.
I mean, you can find me on Apple, Spotify.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
The Machine Music, themachine.com. We'll have the website up and running. I mean, there is something there, but it's not fully functioning. But
Right.
yeah.
This is your the opening track of your EP, instrumental EP last year. I'm gonna close out the episode with this.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm just gonna have this fade into black. Come on, Dan, give me a break.
One break coming up.
Dave. There we go. I was hoping.